What is up guys, Simba here, and welcome back to another League Racing video on the channel. And today, this is round 4 of the SLR season for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last video, here are the highlights of the Australian Grand Prix, which was round 3. Go check out if you haven't seen it already, link is in the top right. It didn't do as well as the previous videos, so if you could go check out, that would be highly appreciated. And if you haven't checked it out, you've been spoiled with the championship standings, because after 3 rounds this season, we are 5th, 24 points behind UK Beast Assassin after our penalty post-race, and we are 6th in the Constructors. So we've got a bit of work to do in both championships, and we're looking to bounce back in what is one of my favourite tracks on these games. So here we are, we arrive in Emilia for qualifying. It's a short qualifying. It's going to be a sprint weekend like the last video in WR Bahrain. And as you can see, we are 1.2 seconds up on Riggsy's middle sector. We are 4 seconds ahead of the Delta. And I think this might be our fastest lap of the weekend so far, as we have to just nail the 2 Ravazzas and we should get over. Alright, as we go through 4th gear through both corners, short shifting to 5th for the rotation and the traction on the exit. As we cross the line now, it is going to be a 15.9, and that is P1. That was good. I mean, that wasn't the best lap, but that was good. And you can hear me say there that that was a good lap, but there was a little bit more time to be found. As we come through the middle sector, we don't really take the chicane as aggressively, and we decide to back out of the lap with only 30 seconds left. I think I should have just carried on that lap. We weren't improving that much. And you can hear me say there, we weren't improving by much, and I think we could try again, but you can also hear me instantly regret the decision as the car in front of us has gone off the track. But 8 seconds left, and we've only got 40% ERS, so let's see if we can actually find an improvement, as we are going to skip onto the middle sector, because you can see it in the first sector, we're a 10.5 up, which is really, really good at the minute. So we just need to carry this speed through the middle sector. But now we come through to Acromiliari, and this is my worst corners on the track. You see, we absolutely butcher it. We take too much curb on the inside, and we lose our entire advantage to those corners alone. I'm looking to get it back in the chicane, and look at that, we take it a lot more aggressively, and we immediately gain the time back. We are literally so close to making an improvement, but we have no ERS, which is really hurting us down the straights. So we're going to send it in the 2 Ravazzas, 3rd gear through the 2 Ravazzas up to 4th, and we're going to go towards the line. Is it going to be an improvement? And the answer is no, it's a non-improvement, and it is only P6, and we were P1 earlier. So a massive disappointment. There was more to it, but yeah, I was very, very annoyed. As you can imagine, you know, we could have done a 0.7, but we move into the sprint race. We're going to see if we can recover any sort of track position that we lost in qualifying, and it's away we go for the sprint race here in Emilia. SLR Liam, just like Australia, he is going nowhere. We overtake him off the line, and now we are side by side with a championship leader of UK Beast Assassin going into the Tombarello chicane. We make a bit of contact, and he's gone round. Jesus Christ. Great. He's going to be fuming at me for that. And you can hear me say that he is going to be absolutely fuming at me for that. I don't think there was much I could have done. I could have left a bit more space. But apart from that, there was not much I could do. So we're up to P5, but only because we had to, you know, we made contact with Beast Assassin. As, yeah, that was a bit annoying. We are driving with a lot of frustration, and you're going to see it here. At some point in the race, as you can see here, lap 2, we're right behind Kevin in the Hatter. We get our first warning for track limits already after 2 laps. This is the 2nd lap, and we've already got a warning, and that is never ideal in league racing. You don't want to get a warning early on, especially in a track where it's quite easy to get penalties if you're not careful. So yeah, lap 2, still P5. The pace isn't as strong as I thought it was going to be. I was at an 18.5, just a 10th off the fastest lap for the time being, but it doesn't matter because, you know, we're not making any gains at all as we skipped up 4. DRS has been enabled, and it is a DRS train, and Emilia is hard to overtake around here, and look at that line there. It's another warning.
What am I doing? Second warning. What am I doing?
You can hear I'm growing more and more frustrated at myself as we get our second warning after just 4 laps, and that means we can't really push as much as we want to in this DRS train, so we're going to have to just vibe behind Kevin and Quattro for the time being. It's currently a 1-2 for Aston Martin as Levy King leads LP Smoke in a 1-2 right now, so Aston Martin looking at maximum points, but Quattro is on the attack on Smoke, and Kevin is not going to get involved as well as we come through the Tombarolo chicane. Nothing much happens, and yeah, nothing has changed at the front, but yeah, I know we've got pace, but we can't really utilise it because it's a DRS train, and Imola, especially with these bigger, heavier cars, it is a lot harder to overtake. You can see we get a good run on Kevin out of Tosa, but there's only so much we can do going into this middle sector, and you can see again we're getting a really good run on the Haas. We really want to try and overtake him here, but there is absolutely no avail as we go through Emilia. We almost hit the back of him as well. We're just putting him under pressure, but it's not leading to much as we skip to the next lap, lap 6. Quattro is having a go at LP Smoke. Smoke goes wide, and Quattro gets through, and Kevin is having a look at Smoke as well. He goes onto the gravel, and there's the opportunity we've been looking for. We go down the inside into the Villeneuve chicane, and we're up into P4, and finally progress has been made as Smoke loses the rear end again, and going into Tosa, Kevin goes down the inside, and Smoke is all over the place, and we get boxed in. Come on. And you can hear me getting really frustrated as Kevin absolutely sends it on Smoke, and we're side by side with the Aston Martin. We're going to try and let him through going into Aquamiliari, but instead we're side by side, and we get the job done round the outside, and he has a spin. Alright, listen, what am I supposed to do then? If someone could tell me what I'm supposed to do in that situation, then that would be great, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. It's not my fault. He was literally losing the rear about 500 times before I tried to pass him. I'm losing the plot here. That is a joke. And that rant pretty much sums up this sprint race. Very frustrating. I finally lose the plot. I even said it to myself I'm losing the plot because it was so frustrating. And looking back on it now, I'm so hard on myself. I mean, honestly, like watching back this full stream without editing it, I'm very hard on myself, and you'll see later in this video, but for now, you can tell I'm driving with frustration, and we don't really manage to utilise the clean air in front of us, and it's going to be P4 here today, and that's P4 on the grid for the sprint race. Quattro wins the sprint ahead of Levy King, and Kevin will round out the top 3. We score 5 points in P4, but yeah, a lot of frustration, and I feel like it's going to carry over into the race as well. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The frustration never really went away, so we're going to go from mediums to hards once again, just to make sure we don't fall behind the front runners, because I feel like we do have the pace, but it's time to utilise it in the main event of the weekend, here in Imola, and it is 500 lights are out, and we are underway for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Quattro is going absolutely nowhere, and that's because he had a problem with his game, as it wouldn't let him shift up to first gear. As we're side by side with Kevin, we dip it onto the grass going into the Tombarolo chicane. We go on the curbs, and Riggsy passes as we make contact, and we're down to P6. Oh my god, we're back in 6th. Come on. And just like that, our progress, quote quote progress we made in the sprint is immediately eradicated in the first blooming lap of the race, and the frustration was kicked in. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. At this point, I said to myself, I can't be arsed. I actually can't be arsed. It's very frustrating right now as we're trying to find a way. Quattro's trying to find a way past VR46, who's managed to gain places due to the chaos, and Levy King is running away with Kevin in the lead. So, yeah, very frustrating start to this race. And the frustration carries over into the real race as Quattro gets past VR46 with ease before the Tombarolo chicane, and we're looking to pass him as well, but thankfully he lets us through. I'm not too sure why, but I think he might have had damage, but that's a free position up to P5, and we're still with Quattro, who is probably definitely one of the quicker drivers in this division, and that's great for him, a big step up from where he was on last year's game. And that's what you want to see as a competitor, you know, drivers making the step up in terms of pace. So lap 3, DRS has been enabled, but we get the worst warning you ever see. is the worst warning you will ever see in league racing. As you can hear me say, that is the worst warning you'll ever see in league racing. We managed to get a warning in a straight line, ladies and gents. That is how bad I'm driving right now. It's been a very scruffy weekend, I'm not going to lie to you, and we're not making things any easier for ourselves. We got our first warning within the first 3 laps of this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. As we skip 3 laps later, Quattro has got past Rigsy and it's already pulled away, and now we have the best chance to pass the Red Bull. We're definitely quicker at this stage of the race. The medium tyres are definitely the quickest tyre right now, and we are looking to utilise some of our pace that we were feeling before the start of this race. And there we go, DRS and overtake, and there you go. We are up into P4, back to where we started in this race. We've got the 2 places back, and now it's just a matter of catching up to the front runners. There we go. Up to P4, they're scrambling up front, we can catch them. And you can hear me say there is a bit of squabbling up front, and I think we can catch them. So despite the poor start to the race, we are not giving up hope just yet. We can definitely fight for a podium, or maybe even the win. But for now, the priority is catching up to the top 3 in front of us, who are in a DRS train, as a yellow flag's behind us, but that won't really affect us too much as we continue in the middle sector. SLR Sam has retired from the race, and what do you know, there is a safety car, and now we are right back in this race. And this also means that we are definitely going straight to the hard tyre to the end of this race. And funnily enough, this was the same strategy I did in last season's race back on F1 2021. Pit for hards to the end of the race. Only this time, we weren't at the back of the field, we're fighting at the front. And here we go, into the pits for the hard tyre. And we're about to see a big moment that literally propels us back into the fight for the top 3. Oh, let's go. And as you can see, we have managed to jump the Ferrari of SLR Quattro, and we are in a net P3 in this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, which is absolutely brilliant. But Bennett comes past us down the straight. I forgot about Bennett. Oh wow, we're still 4th. We're still 4th. Levy King's put he's got a car in between himself and Kevin now. So you can hear me say there, Bennett is basically the car in between himself and Kevin. As, yeah, I'm a bit more calm now, you can tell by my voice. Just that you heard me there when I was talking about Bennett. As the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. And the main priority is to jump Bennett as quickly as possible, because he is not in our race. And we need to also make sure that we don't get any threats from behind us, as Levy King puts the power down and restarts the race. Bennett has been caught napping here, and we are looking to capitalise. Kevin is looking to capitalise, and Quattro and Rigsy are right behind us as well, so we need to be wary of them as well as we're going down towards turn 1 and 2. Can we take advantage? Kevin goes down inside of Bennett, and there's a little bit of contact between the two of them. We get the switch back through the turn 3, and we get ahead of SLR Bennett with a nice switchback, shades of what happened to Kevin in the sprint race. But as we go through the Villeneuve chicane, we get another warning. Oh, that is a joke. Great, 2 warnings already. I'm probably going to get a penalty. Oh, beats us off. So, unfortunately for us, we've managed to get a second warning. These hard tyres are still cold, and it will take a while to get them to warm up to temperature. As, yeah, Zach is off as well. Not a good time. Yeah. As you can hear me saying, it's not a good time. That was my mum walking in halfway through. As yeah, we're trying to get back in the DRS and trying to get into the swing of things. As lap 12, Barlow is out of the race as well, and that has triggered another safety car. So 2 safety cars in the space of 4 laps, and again, this race has been restarted in a way. As yeah, another safety car. So we're still in this race as we're checking the warnings for the other drivers as we're about to press on the race director. And there you go. As you can see here, Levy King has not got a single warning. Kevin's got 2. We've got 2. And yeah, I think a few other drivers around us have got either 1 or 2 warnings. So we're going to have to factor that in mind as the safety car is coming in once again on lap 15. It's Levy King ahead of Kevin. So once again, we just need to make sure we get the restart clean and avoid any threats from behind us. As Levy King catches us napping here. Oh, caught napping there. And as you can hear me say there, we were caught napping as Riggsy is having a look at us round the outside going into the Tumbarello chicane. And we just managed to stay ahead of him. I think there was a little bit of contact, so sorry about that, Riggsy. As he goes wide, and Medal has been spun round.
Oh, Medal's round.
And you heard my reaction to it. Unfortunately, Shut Medal was at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, we had a few moments with him last season, but we seem to be getting along pretty nicely now. As, unfortunately for him, he's been spun round and he's found himself at the bottom of the field. As we've got 10 cars left in this race. It's been one of attrition maybe, but it means that everyone in this race is going to score points. So, lap 16, the main priority for us is to stay within the DRS range of the front two, and therefore we can get away from Quattro, but Quattro catches up to us. But lap 21 is our chance to strike.
Right, I feel like this is our best chance to get past Kevin.
And you can hear me say there, we've been pretty patient, but now is our best chance to get past Kevin. We just need to nail the two Ravazzas, and we get DRS down the straight. We managed to charge up a little bit of DRS, and we're going to use some of it now to get past the Haas, who has been quite a pain in the rear in this race. He's been pretty good today. As here we go, DRS, and we get past Kevin.
Let's go, come on.
And you can hear me say, let's go, as we move into P2 in this race. And now, we're starting to think that maybe we could win this race, despite driving with frustration for most of this weekend. So now we just need to get into Levy King's DRS. And that is not going to be easy, as the gap is just under a second at the end of Sector 2. And now we're going to make the conscious decision to drain the battery here to make sure that we gain his DRS. You can see the gap at the top left. Now we need to just have a heavy braking into the Ravazzas. And I think we've just got into his DRS range.
Oh, yes. We're in his range. Just about, though.
And you can hear me being quite delighted to get into his DRS range, as we barely managed to get in. We set a personal best of an 18.7 in the process, and the gap is now 7.5 tenths. And we are looking to be pretty patient here as we skip to lap 27. We've just been sat behind the Aston Martin, and I'm just going to show you this clip right here, because this is something I wish I realised during the race. I think I did. I'm not too sure, because it's been like nearly 2 weeks since I've done this race, over a week. As you can see here, we're very strong in the first sector compared to the Aston Martin, and he has his strengths after the chicane in sectors 2 and 3. So, we've charged up the battery. The tyres have hit 60%, as we've been on these tyres since lap 8, despite a safety car as well. So, this is it. What do we decide to do here on lap 30? We could wait another lap, but we're going to decide that now is the right time to overtake the Aston Martin.
Right, we're going to go for it.
And you can hear me say, we're going to go for it. We've got flashbacks to Monza last season, where we made the move and preferred to be defending on the last lap. And that's exactly what we're going to try and do here in Imola for our first race win of the season. We're going to try and go round the outside in the Tumbarello, but Levy King hangs on. But we're going to try and get a better drive going into the Villeneuve chicane. And you can see, we are gaining and gaining on him, but we don't use the ERS. We don't go for it. As we're looking for another switchback going into Tosa. We get a good run. We're right behind the Aston Martin. And we have a look at Tosa, but no, we think better of it.
I'm under pressure. We can do this, chat. We can do this.
And you can hear me say there, we just wanted to put some pressure on him, and that's exactly what we've done. But in hindsight, I wish I went for it. As you'll see here, I'm telling my chat, we can still win this race. We can still get this win on the last lap of the race, because the last lap is the most important lap to lead any Grand Prix you're involved in. But you can see here, going through the chicane, we lose the rear end, and that might have ruined our chance.
No. Damn it.
You can hear my reaction. I was really annoyed at myself, as now the gap is 0.8 of a second, as Levy King is so good at the exit of the chicane. But now we're going on to the last lap. Can we fight back?
That was our chance. Oh, his red light's flashing as well. That is so annoying.
So, on to the last lap of this race. You can hear me say his red light is flashing. And I think we might have timed it one lap too early. We were making him use a lot of energy, and we could have used that to our advantage to go for a last lap overtake. But instead, we're still chasing this guy as we're coming through the Villeneuve chicane. It's not a great run. We lap UK Beast Assassin, but I think that was like the third time he stopped caring, but he knows he's going to get a point. But we're making a few mistakes, and Levy King is just driving away from us as we go wide, and we lose the rear end.
Oh my god, come on. Wow. Don't hit him. Oh my fucking god. How have I choked that badly?
So, unfortunately,
God.
we have given away P2 to SLR Quattro, and you can hear my reaction. I'm really angry at myself. And in hindsight, I wish I wasn't so angry at myself. I tried my best here. And Levy King's going to win the race. Quattro's going to be second. We're going to be P3, but we were so close to winning this race. But it's another podium.
That is annoying. That is really annoying. Ah!
And you can hear my immediate reaction after the race. I was very, very frustrated because our pace wasn't as strong as we thought it was going to be. You know, we were not driving as well as we normally would. It wasn't my cleanest weekend. And, yeah, we had a chance to win the race. I get an unlikely victory, and we let it go on the last lap of the race. Meanwhile, Levy King takes his first win of the season. And 4 different winners from 4 races here in Division 1. It's very competitive at the front, and it's great to see so much competitiveness up and down the grid. But today belongs to Levy King. He nearly scores maximum points from today's sprint weekend. And for us, it's P3 and 20 points to add to our tally after losing 10 points in Australia. But yeah, I was very frustrated. I need to be a lot kinder to myself after the races. You know, being hard on yourself, you know, it's not a great trait to have when you're league racing. So final result, we were 3 seconds off the win. We were in another league compared to the rest of the field, but the main thing is, it's a big step forward for us. It's turning off the racing line. We've managed to get closer to the race win. That was the first time that we were fighting for the race win since turning the racing line off. As you can see here, 3rd best scorer overall. Levy King scores 32 points. And, you know, a strong weekend. A scruffy weekend, but strong result to end it. So that is going to be the end of today's video, guys. The next one is going to be in Miami. But until then, take care. And I'll see you in the next one.